Well, how about that for playoff basketball?
Whoa!
Double overtime here in Toronto, and the Toronto Raptors make it a series, winning 118 to 112 in double OT. Third overtime game of these playoffs, the first overtime game in the Eastern Conference, and the first double overtime game in Toronto Raptors playoff history. And it ends their way, 118 to 112. Welcome to Inside the NBA, presented by Kia. Let's jump in right to the highlights because it's about a 7 Toronto. Toronto wins it by 6, and they make it a series in double overtime. Kawhi Leonard, 36. He's had at least 30 in all 3 games. Milwaukee hadn't given up 30 to anybody in these playoffs, but then Kawhi's done it in all 3 games. 118, 112. Marc Gasol, 16 points, 12 rebounds, 4 threes, and a post-game visit here to Inside the NBA. Mark, thanks a lot for making the time. We appreciate you. Nice going tonight, man. You had to have it.
Yeah. After a tough game too, personally, you wanted to come out and get rid of the bad taste that you had of, pretty much stick to your stomach for 48 hours. So, yeah, happy.
Mark, were you mad that you didn't play well, or are you mad because you weren't aggressive?
Both. Okay. You look back at tape and you're like, okay, I should have been aggressive here. I wasn't. And then the time you were aggressive, I was misreading the situation and rushing some shots. So I'm happy that we won tonight and I get back into the series.
Listen, everybody knows you're a nice guy. I think the reason you're not being aggressive because you want to fit in. We know you're a great passer, as a big man. You don't want to do too much, but we saw tonight that when you're aggressive and you just let it go, you're Marc Gasol, you will score at least 60, 70% of the time.
Yeah, you're right. Trying to find my plays on the floor, but first I got to look at the basket and be aggressive. That's what my team needs, and I was happy to be able to help tonight.
So we saw you do it. So is that the why? Is that the why? That's how you change your being aggressive to non-aggressive. Is that the why?
That's what the team needs, and I'm a team guy, obviously, but what team needs you to be aggressive, you have to be aggressive because it's being selfish by being too unselfish sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I used to say this to some of the guys on the team, the younger players. I said, you could be selfish by trying to get an assist, and I think that at times you were getting assists, but being selfish instead of going for the shot, which is actually yours.
So Let me ask you this question also: how weird is it to chase a 7-foot guy who really only shoots threes? Because last year's against Embiid, it was more banging. But what's the difference and the difficulty you're having? Because this guy never goes in the post, really.
Yeah, he normally doesn't. He's out there for a reason. He can make a lot of shots. I mean, he can change the game like we saw on game 1. It's the game plan is different. You got to be inside, obviously, helping on Giannis, and he puts a lot of pressure on us. And then you got to build out and take away his shot. And it's multiple efforts.
Mark, there was a lot of talk in between games 2 and 3 from Nick Nurse about possibly changing the starting lineup, and your name came up in the middle of that. Obviously, was there discussion? Did you talk to Nick Nurse? What was going on? And did you know you were starting? When did you know you were starting in this game today?
Thankfully, I don't read or watch TV or I'm not on social media, so I don't know what guys talk about. So I was just focusing on what I had to do to help my team win. That's all I worry about.
Are you saying you don't watch our show?
Not
it's
in
like
the
the only one you do
watch. Well, I'll put it on mute. I'm sorry.
So
hey, I do the same thing.
So what's
when
the
I'm
mindset
here.
of the team now? I know it's tough of going down 2 at their place. You get a tough double overtime game. So what's the mindset of the team now?
The same like we had on game 3. It's for us, you got to protect home court. You can't lose game 4. It's a must win for us.
Hey, let me ask you about Kawhi Leonard, because Kristen Ledlow talked to him after the game, asked him how he was feeling because it looked like something wasn't quite right, and he's saying, look, it's the playoffs. But did he look like himself to you? Did it look like he was struggling a little bit physically?
Obviously, when he was trotting, it looked like he was limping a little bit. But when he had to make plays, he put it all out. And, and defensively, that steal that he had on the handoff, that was a game for us.
Well, I know the Currys get a lot of attention for being in the Western Conference Finals, but the Gasols are in the Eastern Conference Final. One is hurt.
Yeah, I know.
When do you guys communicate as brothers since he's hurt.
Exactly. We do because he's hurt and he don't get to play. So,
okay. If he wasn't hurt, you wouldn't talk to him.
Probably won't.
Well, who buying dinner tonight?
Oh, he's still in Milwaukee. He cannot fly yet.
Okay.
So I'm saving that one.
Isn't there part of you that wishes he were
Of course.
up to speed so you guys could be at this stage sharing it together?
Of course. But he's here in a way. He's here all the time. He's a great example for me. He's always been a great guy. And I'm just trying to beat his team now.
Hey, it's a 2-1 series. Nice going tonight, man. So,
thank you so much.
Muchas gracias, amigo.
De nada.
Me llamo El Padrino Negro.
El Bandolero.
That's right,
great,
Chuck.
man.
I know Spanish.
Adios.
I'm telling you, man. Hey, Megatron.
He calls Chuck calls him the cyborg.
That's the cyborg they got out there, man. This dude, unbelievable.
Coming back with more on Inside in just a
that
second.
wasn't double dribble.
It's a 2-1. That's a 2-1 series.
That's great.
We had a chance on the road to win a playoff game, and we didn't play our best. There's so many areas where we'll look at it, where we'll get better as a team. Individually, we'll do better, and we were right there with it. Keep your heads up. This is what it's all about. Relish it. Embrace it. All right? Bring it in. Come on.
For the first time this postseason, the Bucks lose a game on the road. They were 4-0 coming in. They lose this one in double overtime, 118-112. You talked about guys needing to meet the challenge of Game 3 when you're down 2-0, and these two did, Kenny.
They met the challenge. And you know what? It's going to be tough for me to read this game. You know why, Ernie? Because this is a game that if you are going to win an NBA championship, you win. But it's also, if you win an NBA championship, this is how someone has to beat you. So it kind of, I'm not really sure what to read and what to take away from this game.
It's very easy.
What is it?
This ain't brain surgery here.
Tell me
These
what
guys
it is,
dribbling the
then.
ball up and down the court. Guys showed up and played. I said before.
But haven't you lost a game like this and still got to the NBA Finals?
Yes,
yeah, you're going to have bad games, but I'm saying.
And won it.
But go ahead, Chuck.
I'd rather Toronto have punched them in the face. I'm still not worried because
listen,
Milwaukee was right there. You
wouldn't be worried if you're Milwaukee, right?
Yeah, I'm not worried at all.
And that's the thing that concerns me about Game 4. Number one, Coach Nurse got to play more players because Milwaukee playing 10 guys. You're not gonna beat this team playing 6 or 7 guys because if 2 guys don't foul out tonight, I'm not sure he goes deeper on the bench. I got to play Jeremy Lin. Well, let me tell you something. This was a simple game. Siakam, Gasol, Powell. At some points, listen, all these X's and O's, it's about Jims and Joes. And Jims and Joes showed up tonight, plain and simple.
Giannis, by the way, for the 5th time this season, scoring under 15 points. He had 12. Did have 23 rebounds, which is the high for
and I think he had
this
8 assists,
postseason. He also had 7 assists, went 5 for 16. Nick Nurse's Raptors win Game 3. It's 2-1. Here's the Toronto head coach.
Well, I think just in general, Doug, we played with a much tougher mindset, right? And I thought we were kind of gritty, and we didn't really have much choice there. Those guys had to roll those minutes, and they kept on playing and fighting and doing everything they could to keep us in the game and make plays.
Mike Ganter on the right.
Nick, back here. Before the game, obviously, a lot of people were thinking you were going to make some changes, and you kind of hinted that you might make some. Everybody seemed to be of the opinion that it was going to be personnel changes. What made you stick with what you had?
Well, I said lineup changes. I didn't say starting lineup changes. So we played a lot of different lineups tonight, and we changed at least 3, if not 4, of the matchups to start the game. So, and then we brought Norm in early and Serge in early, and we went big. We never did get to really small, but we were playing caught a lot of different lineups because of foul trouble and double overtime and all that stuff. So I think some of those changes were pretty good to us. But again, we just played a lot tougher, man. We were up guarding, and we were physical, and we were ready to play tonight.
I didn't say starting.
Knock it off.
Come on, knock it off. Say it again, Kenny.
Knock it off, man.
Come on, man.
You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool us.
When you play a team like Milwaukee and you come back home, you have to beat them. You know, Milwaukee still feel really comfortable. Listen, Toronto played well, no disrespect, but Milwaukee's not really concerned about this. And listen, Giannis, the great player he is, 12 points. He ain't sleeping well tonight.
Well, 12 points, but he still had a great game. 23, 24 rebounds.
Some nights you don't shoot the ball well, but I wish the coach had said, hey, instead of saying all this stuff, I'm really proud of Siakam for stepping up. You know, Marc Gasol, he really stepped up. Norman Powell really stepped up. This ain't a time you're supposed to be pumping your guys up because you're still down 2-1 now. Ernest says they're back in the series. They're not back in the series yet because they lose Tuesday. They'll be done Thursday. But
if they had lost tonight,
they would have lost.
The series
they would have lost Tuesday. But listen, Ernie, if they don't win Tuesday, we'll be on vacation Friday. So, but I wish
on
the
what
coach,
day?
Friday.
And Ken, you know,
guarantee.
You know why Milwaukee's feeling good? Mirotic 10, 12, 15, 9, 11, and they still had chances to win the game.
That's what I'm saying,
starting
Shaq.
Five didn't play great, and they still had chances to win the game.
And that's what I'm saying. Going through championship runs that you've had, obviously, with the Lakers, there are games that you go, okay, this is the way we're supposed to lose. Now, you know, because you're going to lose most of the time through a run. So, but we can't lose certain ways. And I would look at Milwaukee and say they lost the way they're supposed to win. But then again, Toronto got the game they were supposed to.
Listen, to me, it's going to be the same thing. Are those guys we're bragging on right now, are they going to bring it?
On Game 4?
Yes, because they got to. We need Powell. We need Siakam. We need Gasol.
Agreed.
Danny Green. Green got to step up, man. Because Kawhi, man, I'm going to tell you something. Anybody who watched this game, he did not look good. We kept showing highlights of him limping. But for him to not let his team lose, that was impressive.
Danny Green, 1 for 9. Fred VanVleet, 1 for 11 on this night. But Toronto wins. Toronto wins, and Kenny stealing Drake's look.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what. And my pop's dress flicker than Drake's pop. I'm going to let you know that, too.
Oh, see, now you're coming at
Come on, we can have
man.
it.
Come on now.
Yeah, we can go at it.
Keep it up. You got to go back through customs.
Drake don't shut me down.
You got to go back through customs.
Make sure you're in line in front of Kenny.
I know.
Might back up there for a while. 118-112, the final.